A smaller program at a great university, a place where innovation is baked into its DNA, a new building in the middle of the land of startups, action-oriented, community-focused, humble, nice. So what business school am I talking about? Actually, I'm talking about two schools, though 3,000 miles apart, they are surprisingly similar. They are MIT Sloan and Berkeley Haas. There are dimensions on which you can compare one school to the next, including location, class size, curriculum, pedagogy, ranking, and more. Nevertheless, there are schools that feel more alike than different, and one example of this is MIT Sloan and Berkeley Haas. Whether it's Haas or Sloan, the word that immediately comes to mind is action. By this, both schools mean getting off campus and putting classroom learning to work right away. To this end, a Haas student must take at least one of the 20 applied innovation courses that are offered to gain some practical experience. Some of the most well-known include international business development, where students are sent all over the world doing projects for-profit and not-for-profit organizations. Haas's Sustainable Investment Fund, which gives students real dollars to manage by investing in companies focused on social impact, and Haas at Work, where students work on projects for top companies like Visa, Cisco, and Disney. Does MIT Sloan have something similar? More than similar, almost a perfect copy and paste. At Sloan, these sample experiential learning courses are called Action Labs, and they too involve students getting out of the classroom and going to work at companies big and small around the world. Some of the most popular include the Healthcare Lab, the H Lab, in which students help medical centers deal with issues like getting more patients out of the hospital more quickly, and the Global Entrepreneurship Lab, wait for it, the G Lab, which has students helping startups in places like the Philippines and Kenya. Another central theme at both schools is entrepreneurship, with many successful startups coming out of both Sloan and Haas. At both schools, entrepreneurship is studied and practiced in many yet similar ways. If you want to focus your course of study at Haas, this means choosing entrepreneurship as your area of emphasis. At Haas, there are 13 areas of emphasis for students who want to specialize in a specific field or discipline. While at Sloan, you can receive a certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation by following a specified curriculum. One of the highlights of both entrepreneurship programs is their well-known business plan competitions. For Sloan, this is the vaunted 100K competition that has spawned companies like Akami and HubSpot. The 100K supports startups not just through money, but with a community of like-minded founders. Not to be outdone, Haas has its Launch Accelerator, which acts more as an incubator, pulling founders from every part of the university to act as partners and mentors. And yes, there is some money involved, with up to $40,000 awarded to the most promising companies. By being part of universities with best-in-class engineering schools, Sloan and Haas are both well-positioned to send their graduates to some of the top tech companies in the world, such as Google, Amazon, and Meta. And here's where the difference between the two schools starts to grow. Being at the center of Silicon Valley, Haas graduates can find their way to not just the biggest tech companies, but a wide array of medium and small companies, including tech startups. For Haas, all these opportunities result in 1/3 of the class going into tech, while similar opportunities pop up for Sloan grads. They're a little harder to come by, with only 1/4 of the class going into tech. While Sloan may not be at the center of Silicon Valley, it is at the very epicenter of the Silicon Valley of biotech in Kendall Square in Cambridge. The result is a world of opportunities for Sloan grads to join anything from the biggest pharmaceutical companies all the way down to the smallest of small biotech startups. One more difference between the two programs is class size. While both Sloan and Haas are considered small programs, the difference is actually greater than you'd think, with Haas having less than 300 students, while Sloan has a touch over 400. This matters in some ways more than others. If your intention is to get to know every other classmate after 2 years, it's likely a little easier to do at Haas. While if you're looking to plan what's next at that big conference, Sloan may be a little bit better, if only because you have more classmates to share the load. There are likely another half dozen ways to compare Sloan and Haas. And at mbaMission, we do just this through our Insider's Guides, where you can find more details about each school. No matter what, it's important to remember that both schools have a reputation for being filled with smart, humble, and supportive students. So it's hard to go wrong in either place. Okay, so now you know about two schools that are very similar and have their differences. Good luck with your process of deciding between the two. Hey, maybe you apply to both. Good luck with your applications.